Aloha! How's everyone doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. It is raining here in Sydney. With the rain comes dust, pollens. If you have allergies, Sydney is one of the worst cities to live in. If you have allergies, I have allergies due to the pollen count. Now, it's just the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. It's just that when it does rain after it's been dry, my allergies act up. So if you see me kind of sniffling, kind of struggling with some allergies. But other than that, we're good. We're still good. I'm going to be on for a little while today. I'll take your questions. We got fights coming up this weekend. There's fights on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So fights in Canada, fights in Mexico, fights in the UK. We'll talk about it. I'm also going to be talking about the UFC card this week. The main event, Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira, which is an interesting matchup. I used to have, from 2020 to 2022, I used to do the same exact thing on Instagram, but with MMA and UFC. I co-hosted a show with a gentleman named Tyler Little. He's an MMA journalist out of Washington, D.C. He's now an MMA manager, runs a management company. We had a show called Easy Money with Johnny and Tyler. This is why when you see all of my on Instagram, whenever we hit our tickets, I always write Easy Money. It was a show I used to have. We had merch and everything. It's been a few years since I really invested a lot of time in MMA and UFC in terms of giving you my predictions. I'm going to reintroduce that this week. It's still all boxing here, though. I am going to do a Stats Don't Lie video, Mario Bautista versus Oliveira, and I'll give you my prediction, just like the boxing. And it's going to be in the same playlist, fight predictions. So, guys, if you haven't already joined, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video as you're tapping in. Pinned right there in the comment section, our JSB Insider membership. You can either join here or on Discord. This gets you in. You can either join here or on Patreon. It's a couple bucks a month, whichever way you join. If you join on both, if you join on one or the other, you get access to our Discord. We just broke 350 JSB Insiders. So if you go to the Discord, we're up to 353. We are growing, started in August. It's been awesome to watch this thing grow. It's not just boxing. It's not just betting. It's a full-on community. There's all pro sports. So because we started it in August, we're kind of growing and learning on the go. We just launched tennis due to the Australian Open. So there's a tennis channel, MMA channel, American football. We're launching baseball when baseball starts. For the Aussies, NRL is coming. AFL is coming. So I'm launching the AFL channel. I'm launching the NRL channel. I'm launching the Major League Baseball channel. And so a couple bucks a month gets you in the door. Let me know how you guys are doing. Hopefully everyone's going well. This is it's a great community to be part of. Whether you're on my just being able to chat about sports that you like, specifically boxing, and do it in a way to where even in the comment section, you guys don't have to ever be sort of embarrassed to post your thoughts on an upcoming fight or potential matchup because you're not going to get clowned here. So I'm going to start tapping in and we'll get we got a new member. Welcome RMRU3FK. Appreciate you, newest member to the team. So now we're at 354 JSB Insiders. RM, so all the new, to get the Discord link, just send me an email. So RM, if you're watching this live stream, go to my YouTube channel, go to the YouTube channel, go to the members post section. You'll see my email, and then I'll send you the link. Pablo Boxing, what's up, buddy? We had fights yesterday. We had the Zuffa card. Guys, that Zuffa card was great. I got to be honest with you, though. Because we had such a busy weekend, I was watching the Zuffa card, I was completely burned out. I was completely checked out. I didn't break down any of those fights. I did a parlay. It was a lackluster, half-ass parlay, just because the roller coaster of the weekend was amazing. Whenever you see me do the Stats Don't Lie videos, this is if you're new to the channel. From a betting perspective, those are the bets that I've gone heavy on. I did 5 of them. And one of the fights was canceled. The Carlos Adames versus Ammo fight was canceled. But the other 4 fights, we went 4 for 4, 100%. I made all of my money on Josh Kelly, shakurstevenson. I made all of my money on the it's my mind's so fried. I should know this off jump. How crazy. I'm sure you guys can answer this for me. Keyshawn Davis and Xander Zayas. So all my money was made on Josh Kelly beating Murtazayev, Keyshawn Davis winning by knockout against Jermaine Ortiz and winning on the money line. Shakurstevenson winning by a decision and on the money line. And then Xander Zayas winning by decision and on the money line. So if you're new to the channel, go to my fight prediction playlist. You'll see all the receipts there. We went 100%. We had action on the other cards, but that I call that sort of live action. We do a lot of parlays together like this. So when I do the live action parlays, in terms if you're ever interested how much I'm betting, it's usually a half a unit. You know, I'm going heavy on the fights that I put all that film study in. So yesterday we had Zuffa. I got the dog. I flip-flopped. I got the wrong dog wrong. We were looking good until we weren't looking good. I missed on the parlay, but I did hit the prop. I hit on a plus 300, 2 knockdown prop, the Hot Rod versus Vosdick fight. That was the one prop I played. And then on the moneyline parlay, we took Boacek to lose against Butiev, which was a great fight. It was a back-and-forth fight. Boacek won a close decision. I feel like they got it right. I'm glad. You know, he just was kind of edging it optically. He was just kind of, you know, just edging it and the nonverbal communication from Butiev optically wasn't great from about the 5th round onwards. Fought tough, mouth breathing, hands are down. His game plan was a bit confusing. I liked how he started, you know, in the pocket, tight guard, working Boacek's body, and they're just banging in a phone booth. And he must have felt something in the 2nd or 3rd round to go away from that game plan. And then he switches southpaw and started boxing and did really well from about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th on. And then he just kind of, you saw his cardio and his endurance, just the pace of a like he seems to never get hurt. He seems to be made of like, you know what it is? His foundation, he's not like this sturdy, flat-footed guy. He's kind of wiry, and he uses his sort of mobility to just kind of like cushion a lot of these shots. You never see him get hit fully flush to the head. He's pretty long and tall for the division, and he's always in your grill, and there's always something you got to answer to. You can't breathe. He never gives you time to think. He's just, you know, and maybe he's not done. Maybe he's not shot. You know, that with Josh Kelly beating Murtazaev, I want to see Boacek versus Murtazaev, or Boacek versus Tim Tszyu, or you know, like there's a lot of options. But how would Boacek do it? Like, I was impressed, man. I was impressed with his durability. Now, granted, he's not making 154. He hasn't made 154 in what, 4 fights? He's always weighing in at 158, 159. The one thing I do like about Zuffa is that they are kind of doing away with the newer weight classes, and they're trying to keep like every 10 pounds, 150, 160. And so it's giving these fighters, especially these fighters who are kind of on the cusp of weight classes, these guys who are like in-betweeners, you're kind of seeing them look more comfortable at a specific weight. What else? Dude, shout out to the Serbian machine. One of my best friends here in Sydney is from Serbia. So shout out to Jovan, Beograd. Dude, Hot Rod Kalacic, dude. He was down, and he was getting belt to ass until he wasn't. And Vosdick that was the best version of Vosdick I had seen in a long time. Maybe, if ever, until it wasn't. And who knows, he looked lean. He looked like a CrossFitter. His physique, his body composition, he almost looked too lean. It was almost like, you know, I'd like to talk to him. It looks like he might have sacrificed some strength and conditioning in his fight camp for more cardio. It looked that, like, with the physique type, he usually, to me, looks a little bit thicker here, a little bit thicker here. He was absolutely shredded. And, you know, it gets the quick early knockdown, gets another. There should have been 3 knockdowns because Kalacic sat on the ropes at the end of the 3rd, and the ref warned him for doing that. And it was like, hold on, that should be another knockdown. And then Kalacic all of a sudden started finding his backhand. And Vosdick had no answer to the backhand, and it just kept landing over and over. And I was shocked. I think we all were, to see Vosdick unravel like that. There's a lot of questions now. Like, it was pretty fat. Great comeback from Hot Rod. Toasted our parlay, toasted our ticket. And I'm glad that Butiev didn't win, because then I'd be more salty from a betting perspective. Because if that would have been the only fight I lost in the parlay, I would have been salty. But, lost that one. And if we would have had him flip flop, so to the boys who had him flip flop, I know some of you guys took Hot Rod instead of Vosdick, and then Boachuk instead of Butiev. Hats off to you. Good read. But I didn't put any energy into that fight card in terms of studying, because we had so many other fights. I did a half unit take. I told you guys that in the Discord. And it's still fun. They were great fights. Shout out to Zuffa. I'm going to start saying what's up to the boys now. We're about 12 minutes in. Skeezy, Perth is always in the house. I apologize, guys. My goddamn allergies are killing me, dude. I went on a run today and had to use my inhaler. So I do about 100 kilometers every month. I've been running 100 kilometers of outdoor road miles since 2020. So this is my 6th year. And it helps with my asthma. It sounds kind of counterintuitive. I've had asthma since I was a kid, and it kind of comes and goes. It comes in waves. It disappeared for like 15 years, and then when I moved to Sydney, my asthma came back, and I went to see a doctor, and I found out Sydney has the highest pollen rate. So the pollen count that's in the air, one of the highest pollen counts in the world. So I had to get an inhaler again, and usually if I'm feeling my lungs are tight, I do go for a run. And it's kind of like what I tell my clients. A misconception with that is people would say, hold on, you can't breathe. Why would you run? Wouldn't that make it worse? No. Resetting your central nervous system, increasing your blood flow, all of that circulatory systems help with pumping flow and oxygen. But today was tough because of the rain. That's why I'm like all itchy. It's annoying. I'm sorry. Humble Crumble, what's up, brother? Hopefully you're well. Asadar. I'm just saying what's up to everybody real quick. The Russian was always going to get it done. The Russian was always going to get hard done. But I just thought his game. His levels were just not there. I told you this all. Like anybody who was going to sit here and say Bakhmut Murtazalov had levels to his game, never watched him fight. My publisher just sent me this cup. Shawline Publishing. I'm a writer. What's your superpower? I thought that was cute. They should send me more royalty checks, because the last book I wrote, I didn't make shit. If you think you're going to become wealthy off becoming an author, unless you better be writing for the love of it, because unless you're like a Robert Greene type, not a lot. There's a lot of broke authors, a lot of broke writers. But writing is just one of the elements that I do. What's up, Win? Appreciate you, brother. With the super chat. Hey. Thank you, man. If I helped you in any way, and you guys could help me in any way, I say thank you. Thank you, Win. You always give back to the game. Huge week for the dude. JSB Discord. We are popping. We're growing. We're winning. We're a community. Have you noticed over the last month, Win, since you brought this up, have you noticed that the community aspect of our group has gotten better? Why? Because we've gotten rid of some trolls. We had some guys in there trolling, I found out, purposefully being negative, which was affecting the entire group. And then I found out who they were, and I had to kick out probably at least 10 people who weren't paying. They were just trolling. What they had done was, and I have a list, they paid to get in, and then they were just kind of hiding in the shadows. But it's gotten a lot better. We went through kind of a weird area with like guys like Alex, and I don't want to put people on blast. Hey guys, what a great weekend. Still need to catch up on some of the fights. Will, you're gonna have, dude. There were so many fights to watch, man. So many fights. If you like the technique and the prowess and the savant style of the sweet science, watch what Shakur did to Teofimolopez. If you want to see a firefight in the pocket, two guys really baiting each other into firing their main knockout punches, watch Bruce Carrington versus Castro. That's a fight not many people are talking about. That was for a vacant world title at 126. Castro is a dog. Everybody knew what his how skilled he was and the threat he had with his backhand. Carrington fought that fight and gave him the opportunity. Bro, one of my favorite fights of the weekend was Carrington versus Castro. I've always been high on Bruce. Watching Bruce do that, this is something that if you've never boxed, what I try to do on my channel is not talk down to the folks who don't box, who have never boxed, but I try to educate. I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, you guys know that. And so one of the things that gets missed in a lot of these matchups, or specifically with Carrington, people, who might just look at records or look at fighters and they see a fight and they see their record and then they'll make a judgment on if they like them or not. What you have to do is watch the psychology of the fight. So Carrington has the skills to not fight Castro that way. Carrington chose to fight Castro that way, chose to be vulnerable, chose to be great. When we're talking about fighters daring to be great, risking everything, to go viral sort of thing. This is what, for the fans, for the sake of the crowd, this is what Carrington did. Dude, that kid's star, but this is what gets you fans. This is what, this is like what I talked about the other day. This is what Chico Corrales did. This is what El Diablo, Angel Manfredi. This is what Arturo Gotti. This is what this is in that ilk. Risk. Some of your favorite Mexican fighters, put their bodies in danger for the sake of legacy. And sometimes it goes their way and sometimes it doesn't. Carrington almost was made to pay. He got rocked and he recovered. And that was one of my favorite fights. The storyline of that fight was amazing. There were so many. There were a lot of good fights throughout the whole weekend. We forget, dude. The Kelly versus Murtazaev fight. Watching what everybody thought was going to happen with Murtazaev. The game plan from Kelly, the game plan from Coach Booth was on point. This is exactly what he was going to have to do. He was going to have to use his speed. He was going to have to outbox Murtazaev. What Kelly was doing to Murtazaev a handful of times was he was freezing him. Murtazaev would get caught. He would get out-angled and get hit clean, which, by the end of the fight, you saw whose face was messed up and you saw whose wasn't. And this is exactly what we thought was going to happen. That was a fun fight. I just rewatched that fight and I scored it the same way. Super close. I 100% thought the best boxer won. Who was the best boxer? Who was the better boxer? It's why we hit the plus 400. It's boxing. It's not knockout. You have levels to your game. Who could go from level 1 to level 2? Who could go from plan A to plan B? Murtazaev didn't have a plan B. He just has that one thing. Boacek could go 20. Bro, how, and you know what? We have to admire that. That is in itself preparation. This is a guy, I was wrong, and I'm going to sit here and say I was wrong. He's not done. Boacek's not done. I'll just start calling him, what do they call him? El Flaco? Like skinny boy? I'm going to start calling him, there was a fighter, what did he change his name to? Jaleel Hackett changed his nickname to the Black Mexican, which I thought was great. Jaleel Hackett's only 22 years old. We got to get Jaleel Hackett in a prop, no shade on his dad, but I think Jaleel Hackett at 22 years old, look how big he is. I think they fought at 160. He has a lot of areas where he could grow exponentially if he was put in the right camp. But I'm going to call Boacek like 9 lives or the black or like the skinny cat, because this dude's not washed. He's not done. He's not chinny. Like that style, I don't know, man. He looked good again. I'm now excited again to watch him fight again. You better bring your lunch pail. You better bring your hard hat. You better be in shape when you're fighting Sergey Boacek. Jesus, man. I was at MSG. You were at MSG. Amazing. Basically a shutout for Shakur. Fans were walking out from round 1. We know who I took. We know how it went down. Other than the Kelly prediction, I thought that, my bad. The Kelly prediction was the one I was most stressed about, obviously, for various reasons. The one I was most easy with, if I would have had $1 million bankroll, was Shakur winning the decision. I said 10-2 in my breakdown. I know on the scorecards they said 11-1. It might have been 12-0. What round? I think Shakur might have taken round 4 off. I don't know if it was round 4 or round 5. It was the one round where after it ended, Teo went to the corner and he kind of went like this. It might have been round 4 or round 5. I think that was the one round they gave him. Complete shutout, complete domination with his timing, complete domination with his lead foot, complete domination with his ability to control range, guys. This is why it's called boxing and not CrossFit. It's not called athleticism. It's not called knockout. Shakur, Teo, I was quite shocked. And the last thing I'm going to ever do in my Discord, in our Discord, is judge somebody's picks. But we had a lot of boys in our Discord who were going heavy on Teo. And in my breakdown, I said, look, I give Teofimo the advantage with athleticism, his explosivity. But I was like, I don't think he's hand speed wise. I don't think his hand speed's better than Shakur. What makes a fighter's speed even better is the efficiency of where the punches are being thrown, the accuracy. How much does this fighter waste? How much does he? Shakur doesn't waste anything. Shakur's technique of where his punches originate from and where they finish is as efficient as anybody. That all that creates speed. That promotes speed, and then you add that with his timing and how he looked great at 142, boys. How he filled out and how he postures up. He could have that. He's so balanced in his base and his mobility in his upper thoracic. So the upper thoracic spine is from like here to here, but 360 degrees. So like his mobility of being able to be here, he's never over his front foot. He never gets caught like this. You never see Shakur punching like this. He's here and he's here. He's here and he's baiting you to come in. And it was a complete masterclass. And this is what I said after. I don't want anybody moving the goalposts. I don't want anybody changing the narrative. Teofimolopez is world class. Teofimolopez is a world champion, was a world champion, multiple divisions. Teofimolopez is one of the best in the world. He just happened to fight the best. That what we saw there, I think it might have been, I forget who it was this weekend. Somebody said that decades from now, that fight is going to be shown as a masterclass to up-and-coming boxers. What Shakur did, that was the sweet science in a nutshell. You know, his level changes, his punch selection, whenever you can make a world-class fighter look very average, you know there's not many people in the world better than you. And this isn't glaze. This is straight up facts. Nobody here was glazing anybody. We were given, if you're breaking fights down and giving game plans and giving method of victories and paths to victories, and it just so happens to be that the guy does it and he looks amazing doing it, that's just facts. That's just boxing, man. Sup, brother? Yeah, Julius called this. Julius called it no distance on Skull and Bank. And then we also hit a lot. We hit our long parlay. We hit our underdog of the week. We hit our 2-leg method of victory parlay. And we hit our steal of the week. Julius and I came up with the steal of the week on our live stream on his Thursday night. The steal of the week was the Yuri Cedeno and Tundi William fight to go the distance at plus 150. That one had us sweating out. Skull versus Magno distance has sweating out. But man, Jakob Bank surprised a lot of people. And what does that really tell you about William Skull? Probably everything that everyone already was saying. What does that really tell you about Canelo? If you want to do the, well, were you impressed with Bank? Y'all trust Andrew K. So GMS put on the elect. So the boys are talking about upcoming fights. I'll pull it up. Give me a second. Let's see what those odds look like. And it's my Tuesday morning. I really haven't committed to any of these bets yet. I did post in our Discord the 3 major cards: the Mexican card, the Canadian card, and the UK card. Guys, there's 50 to 70 people on a Tuesday morning live. I say thank you. Make sure you're checking in. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you hit up our Discord. The link is pinned. It's a couple bucks a month. You get all of our bets. I got some NBA action, boys. So if you're in the Discord, you know what? I'm gonna post the my post real quick in the Discord. The boys are gonna be clowning. I haven't put NBA action in a month, and this is like a 20-legger. I'm a prop guy. Last time when I hit NBA, it's props. So give me 1 second. I'll show the boys who aren't in the Discord what we're doing here. All right, so this is the Discord. The boxing. All right, this is the NBA. I'm going to share my ticket in the NBA real quick. The game starting in 45 minutes. Share. Discord. NBA. All right, I'm going to go off camera to blow my nose. All right, so in real time, all right, cool. So there you go. I just shared my NBA props, and then I'll bring up the odds. Yeah, so as you can tell, I ain't playing. That's like a half a unit to win. It's a plus 3,000. So it's just a fun. This is just a fun parlay. Let's pull up our. We're gonna pull up the fights now, and I want to see what GMS is talking about. Because I woke up this morning. You guys are savages, mate, and I commend our whole community. Because we have guys, the list is pretty wide of how many guys do film study. It's not just me. How many guys are already looking for upsets? It's not just me. I woke up this morning with 4 messages in our Discord about this fight, Andrew Kane versus Gonzalez. All right, here's what we're looking at real quick. This is what the odds, and then I'll pull up the box recs. So I'm not that impressed. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I'm super thrilled about this weekend's worth of fights. You guys know Figueroa is on my no bet list. I'm going to have to break that fight down because it's a world title fight. So I am breaking down Nick Ball versus Figueroa. I'm going to break down the Albert Ramirez fight because I like him. And Mehmet Unal is fighting. It's a guy not many people talk about. We cover him on the channel. He's a former Turkish kickboxer. He's ranked globally, I think, at light heavyweight. Mehmet Unal, high knockout to win ratio. He's been on the undercards with Alberto Ramirez. I'm going to be doing the Mehmet Unal fight. I'm going to do the UFC fight I told you about. Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. I want to pull up Andrew Kane's box rec. So you're saying, because I heard people talking upset alert. I'm going to do tape today and tomorrow, and I'll answer your question. I just want to see what we're working with. Okay, Andrew Kane, 14-1. 5'4". He lost to Baluta. This is in Liverpool. He's coming off the Charlie Edwards win. This is his opponent. Guys, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Hit notifications so you never miss one of my videos. And join our group. Nice little showing. We're floating between 50 and 70 on a Tuesday morning, so that's all up to you boys. So thank you. So Alejandro Yair Gonzalez, 26 years old, 5'6". Hey man, just from me looking at the optics right now, I'm gonna look at the tape. We've won a lot of money in the past in the last 12 months of Mexicans going to the UK as dogs, right? So it's not my official prediction, but I think you're onto something. I mean, do you remember Frankie Rod versus Galoya Fi? I don't know if that's exactly this, but what are we going to get with Mexican fighters? We know we're always going to get a Mexican guy who's going to weaponize their cardio. They're going to be in your face the entire time. I just have to do my and we've seen in the past UK fighters with that style kind of melt. So give me some time. We got all week. That's definitely on my radar. Everything is on the line for me this weekend. Need UFC locks. We're going to get it, Yayo. I agree with that take. That's a solid take. Oh, we got a super chat. Rando, my guy. Appreciate you, Rando. Bro, the money distance bet was clutch. Thank you, and Julius. Appreciate you, Rando. All the super chats, however you guys support me, I say thank you. I do my best to support you. We are a growing community. As you can tell, if you're not in the Discord, it's very supportive in there. It's not just one-sided. I post my slips, so all of my bets are up on YouTube and in the Patreon. The Discord, the boys post all of their bets. You guys come on the lives as well. Julius, and anybody, Rando, anybody who wants to come on a live and do a live call-in, you guys are always welcomed. It gives the chat another perspective as well. Okay, we got Win Santiago, Russell Hiroka, Martin Albright. Come on, bro. This is you know how much I'm looking forward to these fights. You know how much I'm a fan of Andy Hiroka. Dude, watch the Andy Hiroka right before, what's the kid's name? Rashiki. I think Rashiki. The kid that Brian Norman Jr. stopped. At the time, the only fight he had lost was to Andy Hiroka. And Hiroka is an aggressive Japanese guy with power. Atypical modern era Japanese fighter who's athletic. Gary Antoine Russell, world champion. I can't wait to see him defend. I'm currently in back and forth argument right now on Facebook in my Facebook group because it seems like the average fan right now isn't aware of Gary Antoine Russell. People are calling him like a basic flat-footed fighter, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? He has wrinkles to his game. He's only getting better. So that's a great fight for him. I think stylistically Hiroka he's going to be tough. He's going to test Russell's durability, but I think he's tailor-made for GAR to look good. We last saw GAR against Ryo. And shout out to Ryo, man. The one thing you will never get with me on this channel is us hating on fighters and us forgetting to give flowers to fighters. Ryo Valenzuela is, 26 years old? He never in an easy fight. Look at who he's fought. He doesn't have a perfect record. He's won, he's lost, he's knocked guys out, he's been knocked out. Ryo Valenzuela, mate, he looked great yesterday against a really tough Mexican opponent. Watching him, overcoming the cuts, watching him give the fight, fight a dangerous fight. And this is why Ryo has fans. This is a beautiful part about boxing. Ryo is in that same ilk of putting himself in danger for the sake of his legacy. And, these are the sort of guys that true blue boxing fans love to watch. Anytime Ryo Valenzuela fights, I'm watching. It was great to see him in there. I think because we've seen him in so many big fights, people forget how young he is, how There you go. Sorry about that. My boy was calling me. Round 8, all the judges gave it. Sub Johnny only finished watching Bank for a skull. How did Bank drop him numerous times in Canelo? Bro, it wasn't the best fight. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. William Skull didn't look right to me. William Skull looked like he was going through the mode. Did William Skull look competitive to you? He didn't look competitive to me. Julius called this though. Julius in our live stream said that it was hard to bet on William Skull because he got the Canelo money. What's good, Phil? We here. What's up, Hydra? What's up, Hydra? Yeah, so another good read on Julius's end. He called that. He was like that's why he picked the fight not to go the distance either way. It gave us the opportunity to not go all in on William Skull, with the risk of him being comfortable with all that money he made against Canelo, and he fought like a guy who didn't really want to be there. Lerone decision could be upset. You think so, man? I gotta watch more Lerone tape. I rate Albert Ramirez, bro. Excuse me. I'm struggling, man. My sinuses are failing me. My eyes. People are trying to call in. It's crazy. Medina, Curiel. Early predictions. You'll get it soon enough. You'll get it soon enough. Figueroa takes any of those fluffies by ball. Figueroa takes any of those fluffies by ball on the ropes. That UK ref stop it. Immediately crown the UK champ, Wayne Booligan here, but I'm telling you how the sport is. Brandon Figueroa in his prime, this is a close fight. I don't think Brandon's in his prime. Did anybody get any news on if Brandon was like injured against Fulton? because that sort of uninspired performance that we saw against Fulton, Ball will stop him. But then this is the same Brandon Figueroa who stopped Luis Neary, knocked him out. So it's tough, right? It's why I don't really mess with Figueroa from a betting perspective. And Brandon's only what, 28 years old? 29. It's just that style, that weight class. What are his motivations? Is he inspired? That Stephen Fulton fight, Kane broke his hand early in the Bellotta fight. He's a good boxer. Kane got that dog in him. All right. The boys know. Kane got serious power at 118, but slow feet. Johnny, what's going on at the NFL Super Bowl party this Thursday? I think the Seahawks win, but I'm going to see what players are out. Then I'll pick the opposite. Yeah. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, what I'm going to do is my favorite players are both, I come from Northeast Ohio, so American football, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is an hour from my hometown. I grew up in Youngstown. I grew up playing football from the time I was 7 until I was 18 competitively. Was our high school quarterback. I played outside linebacker on defense. And I'm saying that to say this. Where I come from, we're diehard Buckeyes. Ohio State first, Cleveland Browns second. And, I could tell you the Ohio State starting teams when Joe Germain was our quarterback back in the 90s. So the Patriots have Trayvon Henderson, but Trayvon hasn't really been getting a lot of playing time since Ramondre Stevenson has come back healthy. Seattle has Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN. So I'm going to go heavy on a touchdown prop. And I'm probably going to create a prop parlay around JSN. Sort of like I'm going to just gamble on him having a massive game. Maybe like 80+ yards, 5+ catches, 2 touchdowns. So I'm expecting JSN to show up. So that's where my head's at with betting on it. And I'm going for Seattle as well. But, New England's head coach is a Buckeye. Vrabel was a Buckeye. And so there's connections on both. And Vrabel's a great guy. He was a great, but when he played in Columbus, man, Mike Vrabel was a G. If Belluta can beat Kane, this could be very live. If Belluta beat Kane, this dude could be very live against Kane. Yeah, I need to watch tape too. You boys are educated as hell, man. Curio coming up in weight. Think the favor's Medina, especially after the recent performance against Takai. Curio versus Medina will be a bloodbath. I think Curio. Let's look at those odds. JSN Super Bowl MVP. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that being a play. I'm just putting together a sneaky parlay real quick for the Super Bowl. I just want to see if it pays. If props are even out, it should be. Okay, touchdowns. We'll go receiving yards. I'm going to say if I could get JSM, maybe we'll say 153. I'm interested to see what this is going to pay. Okay. So I'm expecting him to ball out. I'm going to go JSN 100. I'm going to go receptions. We'll say 5. You know what? We'll say he's averaging 7. We'll go 7. And then touchdowns, we'll say 2. Oh, yeah. This is me going all out on JSN, boys. So that 3 legs pays $9.25. You would think it would pay more. Oh, let me clear that out. That's still my stuff from this week. So it's plus 8, plus 825. JSN 100 yards, 7 catches, and 2 touchies. 2 tutties. A hundy gets you 825 back. I ain't mad at it. If I lock that in, I'll let you know. Let's go back. Let's see the boxing. You guys were talking about Curiel. Is he the dog? Damn, you guys got me thinking about that Kane fight now. I'm about to dive deep into that tape. Yeah, I don't think Albert Ramirez loses to Lerone Richards, mate. Like, every time I feature Albert Ramirez on the channel, this has been happening for about a year and a half now. People will say, "Oh, I never heard of this guy," and then they'll watch him and be like, "Holy shit, he's decent." And he keeps winning, he keeps winning, he keeps winning. It's just that how often have we seen a light heavyweight from Venezuela? I think he's Venezuelan. Wow, Curiel is a 5-1 dog against Jimenez. Bloodbath. Are you guys saying this ends before the final bell? Doesn't get props yet. That'll be a fun one to prop bet. Medina versus Curiel, Brad Strand, Andrew Kate. Guys, you guys know how I feel about Figueroa, but I'm gonna send some messages out. I'm asking you boys, anybody in there with any connections to Figgy's camp? I'd like to know what was going on with him against Fulton, because he's fighting for a world title again. A kid who goes by the name, the Heartbreaker, who has an opportunity to become a world champion again. He's only 28 years old, who's been in there with the best, way better guys than Nick Ball overall. I think Nick Ball's had, depending on how you rank TJ Devinhaney, former world champion, depending on how you rank Sam Goodman, I rate Sam Goodman, good boxer. Raymond Ford, Vargas, he's been in there with good guys too. But like when I think about Brandon Figueroa at his best, if Brandon Figueroa is at his best, what he was to boxing when, with that style, I would take Figueroa to beat Nick Ball. I would. This is why it's hard for me to fuck with Figueroa. Not just because of his brother Omar too. But I'm not 100% convinced telling you I'm taking Nick Ball. That's all I'm going to say. I've sent messages out. Nick Ball's style is very predictable. One pace. He's short. He puts his head on your chest. If you give me a motivated ass, hungry, healthy, in shape Brandon Figueroa, and you give me him at plus money, I think fools are jumping the gun here saying Nick Ball is going to dog walk him. I mean, because Sam Goodman was winning. Watch the Sam Goodman fight again, guys. Sammy Goodman was very competitive in that fight. That's all I'm saying. It's a hot take, but you guys call me crazy for the Josh Kelly take. Sometimes in this game that we play of breakdowns, there are a lot of things that sometimes have to happen for us to be right. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If Josh Kelly wasn't as durable, if he wasn't able to recover in the ninth, it would have been a terrible pick, right? And, I wouldn't have been able to win a lot of money. How old is Brandon? I swear, Brandon Figueroa is not as old as we think he is. I swear he's 28 years old. 29. He's 29. See, this is why I fucking hate the Figueroas, man, because this shit happens to me. Sorry for the F-bomb. 26-2. Never been stopped. Look at him on paper. 73% knockout with 5'9", 72-inch reach. Fun-ass style. It's just that Stephen Fulton performance is such a goddamn head scratcher. Dude, look who he's beaten. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think folks should probably slow down a bit on saying that Nick Ball is going to run away with that fight. That's all I'm going to say. I think Nick Ball decision is what I favor. That's where I'm leaning right now is the Nick Ball on points. His short ass punches. But that dude, if you get like maybe Brandon Figueroa on some gear, like maybe he's taking some supplements that we don't know about. Maybe he's taking some adrenaline, some testosterone. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's legal. But you get a very luster, like fucking what's the word? What's a great adjective for what I need for Brandon Figueroa? An energized, motivated, invigorated Brandon Figueroa at plus money, boy. I'm just saying. All I'm saying is I'm just saying. Figueroa slowed down. Yeah, but Nick Ball's punching style. I see what you're saying. It's like a Figueroa's covering up. It's a flurry, and then they stop it. Yeah, I get it. I can see that. Medina might get the stoppage. Bloodbath. He tried to box Fulton, win against his own style. J-Sai, always he does, bro. That's why they call him the Heartbreaker. He'll kill the bank account. He'll kill the bank account. All right. Now we got Mr. Sharp involved. Now we got our secret weapon, the Sharp, the assassin involved. This is all I'm saying. My goal has never been to change the way you're going to bet. My goal is to be the conduit of both sides. Raise both perspectives on each. I feel there is a good argument for Brandon Figueroa in a value play here. That's all I'm saying. Warren been protecting ball fought 2 over 35 since being champ. Yep. TJ Devinhaney was good 10 years ago. 100%. I mean, Sam's only 20. Sam's in his prime. But it's just, how do you rate Sam? No. I said maybe we could get him on some gear. You know, like who knows what boxing? He might pull a Frankie Rod. What if he pulls a Frankie Rodriguez and comes to the UK like da 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 da? When Frankie Rod put belt to ass against Galoya 5? Da 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 da. Figueroa couldn't beat Fulton. Fulton's don't get it twisted, mate. Don't rewrite history here. Fulton was a world champion. Ball walking to the front door. He may not. Bro, he walks into the front door with his head here. I'm as you guys know, I'm obviously Brandon Figueroa is on my no bet list. I've been saying that for years. The JSB OGs know that. That's why this is probably shocking everybody. Brandon Figueroa is on my no bet list. I don't fuck with any of the Figueroas. Omar Figueroa dating back to the Abel Sanchez fight. Abel Sanchez. Not Abel Sanchez. My bad. I always get mixed up. Abel. Fucking. God damn it. Abel Ramos. Goes back to the Abel Ramos fight. So they're on my no bet list, but it's not like Nick Ball is a world beater, man. I don't like that style is very beatable. Nick Ball will not retire undefeated. Nick Ball will get stopped. It's just who will do it? I want 29 years old, tall, long, could crack. Brandon could punch. Brandon's too drained at 126. He's never had hand speed or feet. He was leaner and faster versus Neary and Fulton won. Yeah, I know. We're just making the case, boys. We are in our study circle right now. We should just call this study hall. It's Tuesday morning, Monday night where you guys are if you're in America. We're at study table. In college playing baseball, they would force us scholarship players to go to study tables. So this is what we're doing. We're at study tables right now. Figueroa, I think, is shot. Ball, his fighting style, you're saying, doesn't age well. Yeah, I hear people throwing that word shot. I mean, you know how proud these guys are. You know how proud fighters are. You know how proud that Figueroa family is. You're telling me he gets an opportunity. Does anybody have connection to his camp? I want to talk to his coach. I want to talk to somebody, his sparring partners. Our homework for the next 72 hours is to reach out to who we need to reach out to. We need to find if we could get a hold of any of his sparring partners. We need to find if how he's looked in sparring, what his body's like. We need to see what the. I'm gonna wait until the last minute to place my bet. I'm gonna watch him during the interviews. I want to see this weight cut. I want to see him at the weigh-ins. So don't ask me for my official bet. I'll give you my prediction, but I could flip-flop. I 100% think all he has to do is be great one more time. All Brandon Figueroa has to do at 29 years old is choose to show up one more time. If Brandon Figueroa at his best shows up, he beats Nick Ball. That's all I'm saying. I think I think him at plus money is a play. Do you think Figgy phone blue style will work in Ball's favor? I think Ball's style, because Figueroa, he has a lot of, like, Sam Goodman is not a puncher. Sam Goodman was trying to finesse things, but then fought him in the pocket better than I thought he would, actually. I thought Sam Goodman had way more success being physical. I thought Sam was going to use the entire ring more. I believe Joe Gonzalez would beat Ball. There you go. You got to be high if you think Joette beats Ball. The chat's coming now, baby. The chat, guys, we're approaching an hour. We're floating between 50 and 70 here in the in the chat. Like this video. I appreciate all you. However you could support me, support us, join our community, as most of you already have. All you boys with the stars or JSB insiders, we just broke 350. We're at 355 now. The chase for 400 VIPs is on. Let's get it. You could join on Patreon or YouTube. All right, Joe, it is a dog. Joe would wear Ball down. All right. Rando, sounds like a good lot. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying about Nick Ball and Brandon is we got some homework to do. I'm gonna do the same. I've already sent messages out to 2, 3 of the boys in the States. They'll probably get back to me by Wednesday or Thursday. If you guys know any sparring partners, if you know anybody in the gyms, if you know anybody connected to Figgy, I just want to know how he looks. I want to know his preparation. Because it's not like I watch Nick Ball and I'm like at 126 pounds. I mean, you got Angelo Leo, you got Rafa, you got Nick Ball, and you got Bruce Carrington. I put Rafa at the top and then Carrington second. I put Ball on Leo fight. Can we get some unifications at 126 though? For real? Like when? How come we don't? We got new. Dude, 154 was like a unification party this weekend. You know what I'm saying? With Zayas and Barral, and unifications happened. When's the last? We need a 126-pound unification fight, don't we? Nick Ball cannot be Bronco Lara. Dude, don't slip Bronco Lara, a dog, though, boy. Bronco Lara, a dog. That's a good shot. Venado Lopez, Chiarino, or Espo. There's level to Mexican part. Oh, bro. I'm on your side with that. I love Mexican boxing. I love all boxing. I think all boxing has levels to it. Nick Ball, though, is a proud guy. Like, it's his style that he's athletic. He does things that, like, I don't know. Why Brandon? Not because rumor is he was drained. He wasn't stoked. Like this kid's been fighting since he was a teenager. A lot of times these guys at this stage of the game, as bettors, we have to rely on, is he up for the fight? There's a lot of variables that go into this. We're out here looking for value, though. The last thing this is what I can see happening for me. If you guys didn't exist, going in a fight league into this weekend, if you guys didn't exist, here's what would happen. I would bet on Nick Ball because I hate because Brandon Figueroa's on my no bet list, and I would underrate and I would dismiss Figueroa, and I would take Nick Ball, and then Figueroa would have that one performance that sometimes guys have where they turn back the clock and they look like them at their best one more time. And then so I don't want that to happen. And I just want to let you guys know in boxing, this is a possibility. Figueroa could show up 100% healthy, 100% motivated, 100% ready, 100% prepared, and he could dog walk Nick Ball. Sergio Morris at Sanders the weekend. Guys, can we talk about Sergio, man? Sergio had some awful takes this weekend, and I hate bashing fighters in any context. I do. I hate that. I'm not. I'm just some of his takes, like this take I heard, and he says some crazy. You know why? Because he's still not retired in his head. Once a fighter, always a fighter. But sometimes when you go from the ring to the booth, you have to retire. You have to retire in your head. Like he said, somebody was like, they were talking about too. Speak for yourself, mate. So one of the announcers were talking about the two fighters in the ring about how Sergio would deal with them, and like the one announcer said something along the lines of like, "Yeah, this guy's in his physical prime. He would make me and everybody at this booth look be shameful of standing in the ring with him or something like that." And Sergio was like, "Speak for yourself, mate." And I'm like, "Bro, come on, dude." You got to turn. It's hard not to, but once you start analyzing, you got to turn your fighter head off sometimes. You got to be humble. He just lacks a bit of logic sometimes. He said Xander's the weakest champion. Look, if you're a champion and you want to start ranking champions, that's one thing. But if you're an analyst now and you're ranking champions and you're saying Xander's the weakest, I mean, you're talking about a 23-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? Who just unified at 154. You're talking about a 23-year-old kid. Why not just spin that the other way and be like, dude, we're looking at one of boxing's youngest world champions who just unified. We need more we need more fighters. We need more champions to do what Xander just did. We need more champions to put their hand up to like why not just take that route? That's great for the sport rather than having the take of he's the weakest champion, but like that shit's bad for the sport. Ball's deep. Ball relies a lot on his athleticism. He's not a power puncher. He has no reach. His fists are small. Small hands. Oh shit. Once that first sneeze comes, boys, they're coming, baby. Xander could have ran that last round. He sat down and threw down the basket. Yeah. Yeah, King. You see what I see. Sergio hater. Yeah, I think and I think we covered this. I feel that he has to turn that fighter off. At least not always, but at least when you're commentating, or else people are gonna. It's not like Ziggy and I are wrong. It's not like Ziggy and I spoke about this off camera. We're like, all right, Johnny, when you go live, let's call Sergio a hater. No, this is everybody notices this sort of thing, and sometimes like he knows what he's like. I like when he's talking about the strategy, techniques. He'll say things, and I'm like, yeah, man, it's good to have him in the booth. But then when he gets political about fighters, he comes off as a hater. He comes off as bitter. It comes off as resentful. When like it should be the other way around. Like show love, show flowers. I like a lot of I like probably 80% of the stuff he says. So I'm not gonna throw everything away. But he said he had some awful takes this weekend about and he was in the moment, and it has to be like guys, boxing is a fraternity, a small fraternity. He's around that ring itself for the event. They had just had the ring awards. World champions from like generations are there. Current world champions. He probably, there's a pecking order. Let's say, and this guy, was did very well for himself, but it's tough for these guys if you're bringing ego into the game, and Sergio's in a room with 5 other champions and 3 of them are current world champions and they're younger than him, and people are asking for autographs or interviews and no one's asking it. There's a lot of social dynamics that come with a lot of the stuff that we're seeing from our living rooms. I think Sam would beat Ball if they had a bro. Sam fought his ass off, boy. I'm Sam Goodman, and I did not think Sam to be. I didn't think he'd be that physical. He had success against Ball. I'm a Sam Goodman fan. He's still young enough. I say he goes back to. And guys, Sam was coming up from 22. That fight was at 26. Sam was coming up from 22. Sam was supposed to get that anyway fight. Sam's a good fighter. I just didn't think I was shocked, and it worked out for him. He didn't get the win, but I like his game plan against Ball. What's up, Johnny? I like Ball over Figgy. Yeah, this is. Yeah, what's up? This is the general consensus, Brendan, and right now I do too. I just if you're when we start doing these live streams at the end of a busy boxing weekend like we just had, and now we're at the start of a new one, and it's like Groundhog's Day. It was. I always like to give both sides. I don't ever like riding one side or the other in any fashion. I do think there is a path. If there's a lot more variables that need to play in Figueroa's favor for him to be successful, but there is a path. I want to know how healthy he is. Tim Cheetah, Max Kellerman, Howard Foster, Taylor Sr. Who should be? Don't exile any of them. They're all great, dude. The reason why our sport is the best sport in the world is because we need chaos. We need great takes. We need awful takes. We need polarizing figures. We need it all. It's sort of like a melting pot. So the people, the fans, it's up to us, it's up to them to be able to pick and choose to see what they like. Because for everybody who hates on Tim Cheatham, I'm sure there's people, he has a family. He has people who love him. For people who try to hate on Max, they're just haters. Max is an OG in the game, mate. Max has been around for decades, dude. He's grandfathered in. Do you have to like? You don't have to like him, but I mean, he's an OG in boxing. You don't have to be a fan of these guys, but Max has people who love him. People cheer for him. Howard Foster the same. Is he my favorite? No. Teo Sr. Teo, look, he's a madman. But dude, we're all mad in some way or the other. The last thing we want boxing to ever be is uniformed. We need chaos. We need polarizing figures. We need drunks. We need crackheads. We need refs who are blind. We need announcers who are narcissistic. We need fighters who are crazy. We need all of that. So I'm here for all of it. I don't want to ever exile anyone from anything. I think everyone is redeemable to an extent. You know, I'm not a guy by nature to throw people away, right? Like for instance, I'm currently getting trolled right as we speak over the last few weeks, which I'm fine with. But I don't hate those guys. One of those trolls started doing videos, and they went from an anonymous name to you could see who he is now, and I was like, oh, he's just a young dude. I was like, I don't hate that dude at all. I was like, he's young. When I was his age, I was a complete maniac as well. And you know, from that story to go from an anonymous sort of troll to doing videos where the whole world sees you, you invite people into your room. That's brave. It's hard. It's hard to do what we do. So my point is, I don't even like I've been in street fights with guys who are trying to hurt me, and I haven't been mad at them. So like it's just kind of my personality, I guess. I'm not a mean-spirited sort of dude. I don't think anybody should be exiled from boxing. I think all the crazy takes, the chaos, I think it's what makes our sport great. Last thing we want is you know how like in the NFL, in the back of the NFL end zone, it says like end racism? No shit. Do you think so? We need you to tell us to not be a fucking dumbass. Like we need an organization that no fucking shit, don't be racist. And racist. Like I think it's racist telling people don't be racist. We don't need that. Let these people be crazy. And let everything sort itself out. Xander is not bad at all. He's just young and he's 100%. He's 23, guys. Xander's 23, learning on the go. Howard Foster got to be ruining too many. Y'all cats are crazy. Max Kellerman said last shot of the game with Katie, Steph Curry, and Clay. I'm taking it. When he said that, you know, that's an awful take, horrible take. But you guys, if you do your math, if you research that statement, you guys don't want to hear this. There was a time where Andre Iguodala was Mr. Clutch. He killed us, and he killed us in the finals. I'm a Cavs fan. Andre Iguodala, for a period of like 2 series, he starched us. So I don't know the context of Kellerman's take. I remember him saying that. Overall, it's an awful take when you look at the careers. But Clay, like when it was said, Iguodala was one of the greatest athletes. Coming from Philly. When Iguodala was at Philly, dude, this guy jumps at like great defender, great ball player. When he was in Golden State, I'm a diehard Cavs fan. I watched every single sequence when he was on the court. It was either in 2015 or 2017. We won in 2016. It was one of the years either before or after. Iguodala is the one who killed us in the finals. The other guys carried it, but it was Iguodala. So I don't know the context of that statement. It sounds super localized. It sounds super like in the moment. That's an in the moment. And hot takes wasn't his show called Hot Takes? Hot takes don't age well. I'm not going to judge a man for his takes. You know what I'm saying? I picked punk ass fucking Berlanga to beat Shiraz. Cheatham lives up to his name. Repeat offender. We don't need robberies. Yeah. Yeah. Howard Foster only cares about his parlays. Yo, guys, is crazy. Are you an industry plant? An industry plant? What, dude? You crazy? You are even reading this. You need to get off the internet. Your name says John Locke is God. John Locke. Are you talking about the author? Are you an industry? Even you need to get off the internet, man. Are you an industry plant? No, I'm a lifelong athlete who I feel, and I'm an optimist in life. I'm a hopeless romantic. I agree. Thank you, Brendan. Max is very knowledgeable, of course, but he's a tool now. He's from, yeah. You know who you know who I don't like is this time around. This is a hot take. He was one of my favorite guys too. He came back. HBO boxing. He was one of the goats, and then he came back and he did the Teofimo versus Arnold Barboza Jr. fight, and he was horrible. I told him I was like, he should just stay away. Philly, Johnny, salute. Iguodala, yeah, Iguodala is very solid indeed. Move a poor man's version. Yeah, this is why, like, when hot takes are easily taken out of context. That take was in the moment. When Iguodala was in his prime, dude, he fucking monster on both sides of the ball, dude. And taking the last shot doesn't mean hitting the three. Taking the last shot is you're cooking, you're clutch, give the ball to the most athletic dude on the court, drive to the hole, get fouled. Whatever it be. Defensive, he'd always have a defensive mismatch. Yeah, Iguodala, people forget that dude was a dog, dude. And Klay Thompson's soft as hell too. Klay Thompson, I would take Iguodala over Klay Thompson. Super soft. Is the Nigerian heavyweight a lock this weekend? Woo! Whenever we're asking, boys, and you guys know my take on this, I don't believe in locks. But when we're asking, is the Nigerian heavyweight a lock this weekend? I forget his name. Boy, then he ain't no lock. I think you're talking in 2 weeks, though. I think you're talking about F.A. Jagwa. He fights. Doesn't he fight in 2 weeks? Against Charles? Yeah, so F.A. fights, in 2 weeks. Valentine's Day. Jim, yeah, thank you. Lampley was one of my favorites when I was in high school. He was one of my favorite storytellers. It's when I started my YouTube channel the first time, and then it got taken down. So in 2020, you were able, as a content creator, it was legal for the copyright laws what I would do is like farm fight footage from all these different sites, and then I would do documentaries about fighters and fights. And the guy who inspired me to do that was Jim Lampley. Jim Lampley had a series on, I think it was Boxing After Dark, and all the videos are still up on YouTube. And he had the one for Gotti versus Ward, and it was absolutely amazing. It was very inspiring for me to hear Jim Lampley speak so respectfully about the sport that I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't see him for 10, 15 years. And then he came back to do the Teofimo Arnold Barboza Jr. fight. And it was like, now who is this guy? He was saying the most outlandish. He was so one-sided. His work with the Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia fight, so one-sided. The worst was the disrespect. And I'm not a Devin Haney fan, but the disrespect he was spewing onto Haney when Haney was fighting JC Ramirez was shocking to me. Shocking. I was like, what? You don't have to like a fighter, but you're talking about a 25-year-old kid. You're talking about him like he's not a young man who's like, and you're supposed to be like one of the OGs of the sport, the voice of God about boxing, and you're out here and you disappear and you come back out of nowhere and you're bashing Devin Haney. Like, what is it? What's the ulterior motive here? And when I find myself defending Devin Haney, it's like something's kind of off. It'd be like me defending Gervontadavis. But Devin put on a freaking masterclass against Norman Jr., boy. I want to see Devin. I can't wait to see Devin fight next now. Lampley is a legend. 100%, man. 100%. I guess with Lampley's performance at the ring in Times Square, I was just disappointed. It seemed like he was like brought in. I think this is what happened. Turkey brought him in. Turkey played on our emotional attachment to Lampley, and he kind of had a script to stick to. Seahawks money line, Nick Ball decision. Let's go. Guys, I'll see ya. You're my boy, Blue.